Good evening, everyone, and welcome to McStabber Studios, DC by Night, Vengeance Waits Chronicle. I am, of course, Shanky McStabber. As you can see, we have only two other players in this episode. Two of our players were sick, and it was a last-minute sick cancellation, and we wish them to get better, and we wish them better health and to be here next game. But as they say in Hollywood, the show must go on. And honestly, there's enough content for today's game session to really fill up more than enough for just these two players. And in some ways, I guess it is beneficial they didn't make it, because a lot of what's going on today would have had them on the sidelines, not, the primary focus. And so I guess in the end, everything works out fine, I am, of course, Shanky McStabber.
And I am Relyn. I am Shanky's wife and play Lily Sanger, Primogen of Clan Toreador in DC and owner of the Succubus Club.
Hi, I'm Lance. I'm playing Steve Perry, the new Primogen, for however long that lasts.
Of the clan list, no less, which is right. Interesting. So, for those that saw the previous episode, this is, of course, the start of Chapter 2. When we last played, DC had reached a period of unrest. There were some riots, and it was all because of actions of the current prince and the coterie that had set events in motion that caused this.
Oops.
And yes, it happened. And to be honest, it marked a good end of the chapter where we were. But in everything with Kindred related, there's consequences to actions, not just for the players, but for Kindred as a whole. Even the storyteller characters have consequences for things that they've done and things that they've established. So today's episode is going to be called Archimedes' Fulcrum. And I think Lance put it succinctly one night when I told him the episode's name: "You give me a long enough lever and I'll move the world." So keep that in mind as you watch today's session, because it's very much what it is. So where we left off, the coterie had gathered in Quartermain's Haven after the main riots, and I know that the coterie had decided that they were going to stay the night there, but I think that might have changed. So we're going to go right into that scene where the coterie is still in Quartermain's Haven, of course. Out of respect for Quartermain and Locke, I will not be trying to do their voices, because frankly, I would butcher it, and it just wouldn't be nice to them to do that. So I will let the players go, and we'll begin.
Okay, so Lily has just wrapped up texting with, with Raphael, and he has basically sent her a text that makes her ears perk up, that he was not okay, but he will be. And that instantly clicks in Lily's mind. She knows that of all the clans, her clan is notorious for growing attachments to kine and ghouls, and if something happened that might have destroyed Raphael, Wayland, in a hypersensitive state, may have embraced him suddenly, because they are very close. Thinking all this internally, I actually look around the room, and of course Ian is still with me as well, and I inform Ian that I am not going to stay here for the day. I am going back to my club.
Okay.
I look at Steve and ask if he will join me.
Yes, let's go.
Okay.
So, of course, Ian isn't happy with this. Ma'am, but Thomas said, I'm not going to do the Irish accent.
Yeah, no. Kyle was fantastic at that.
Yes. Ma'am, but Thomas said we should stay here tonight.
I understand, but Thomas isn't the boss. I am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And you say your goodbyes to Locke and Quartermain.
Of course,
Quartermain, who is, you could see Quartermain's a bit racked with guilt over the death of Amos and his part in that. And we still don't know how Quartermain, you can see, you've never seen Quartermain shook like this. So he's not doing well. Locke is, of course, staying there to try to deal with the fallout, because that's his hound, and she's got to support him on that. So we will find out with them from later. So you depart the Haven with Quartermain and Locke. Quartermain shattered and devastated. Locke trying to do what Locke does, which is to be the mediator between coterie drama in a lot of ways. She's not a very social person, but she tries not to.
She tries to make the compromises.
Yeah. So you guys depart his haven, which is actually an old bunker underneath DuPont Circle. And you come out in it, and you're not in a sewer initially. You're in old access tunnels, but of course you're going to have to go through the sewers. And you can still hear the sirens above on the streets. Not as many now because it's getting close to dawn, and a lot of the unrest festivities, shall we say, have backed off a bit. But on your way back, of course, you're disturbed by being in a sewer anyway.
Of course. I do tell Ian that I want him to get good rest, that the other boys will cover him. And then I look at Steve and say, I may need to go somewhere suddenly when we wake. I would like for you to come with me.
All right.
Okay.
So when you arrive back at the club, of course, you come up through your underground entrance. And the very first thing you notice coming in is the smell of smoke. The whole area, it's permeated. You're probably going to need to get a good cleaning even in the club to try to get rid of the residual smoke smell, because you'll smell it for weeks otherwise afterwards.
And I imagine the wait list on the cleaning services is going to be a mile long.
Yeah, probably will be, but with enough money.
With enough money, you can make things happen.
That's right.
Yeah.
So when you come into there, of course, immediately you're met by Thomas. Ma'am, I thought...
I need to be here.
It's not 100% safe, ma'am. The club is fine. We held on to it.
I trust you guys to watch over us.
Yes, ma'am. And of course, you could see he wanted to argue, but the blood bond has pretty much.
Yeah, I'm brokering no argument at this point.
Yeah, he wanted to argue a bit, but he just can't. He can't fight the blood bond enough to do it. So he lets you have your way with it, and you go about your business.
Okay.
It's very close to dawn, but what was your plans before dawn?
I'm going to tell him, give me 5 minutes, meet me in the conference room, please. And I'm immediately going to clean off the stench off me.
You're going to freshen up?
I'm going to freshen up.
A little vampire Febreze.
Oh my God.
A little bit of corpse Febreze there to get the sewer and the burning.
I'm changing the clothes. I'm getting,
You're changing or burning everything but the
literally, I'm
vest.
throwing everything that, except for the vest, everything is going in the incinerator.
I hope you're not throwing the vest away.
No. The vest is I'm going to give that to the boys to get them to clean it up. But yeah, no, the clothes are going in the incinerator. But yeah, no, I'm freshening up and getting changed, and then I head over to the conference room to talk to Steve.
Okay. And Steve, you're just going to hang out and wait that 5 minutes? Or
Yeah.
I don't know what else you'd have to do.
I go to my room and change.
Okay. You're not going to wear the sewers?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Lily's already had enough.
I do have a little bit of sensitive
Yeah.
nose, Yeah. Okay.
So
I walk into my conference room, and I'm going to pop Sense the Unseen. I just want to make sure it's secure.
okay. You're going to have to do your roll, of course. This one is resolve and auspex, because you're trying to see through it, not wits. Wits is basically for me to roll for you. But yes, resolve auspex for that one.
And that is 4-5.
Okay, you got 5?
Yep.
You activate your Sense the Unseen.
And I just want to look thoroughly across the room.
As you're looking around the room, you don't see any kindred or anything like that. You do catch the hazy image of a woman in your conference room. One you've been told about before, but it's not there long. You do catch sight of Marissa.
In my conference room.
Briefly. But you're not sure if it's her or not, because instead of... She didn't walk through walls, she didn't walk away, she just
dissipated.
Was a hazy figure there and just kind of faded away.
Okay.
Yes. Not sure why the prince is there. Former prince. I think both of y'all have seen the former prince's picture at this point.
Yeah. But I'm the only one who's been seeing her spirit.
Yes. Actually, you are.
Okay, so looking around, do I see anything else abnormal?
Nothing seems out of place, just that.
Okay. I'm going to walk over to where I saw her.
Okay.
Do I notice anything?
It's just a slight chill in the air. Very slight. But it's noticeable.
Okay.
So you come in shortly after she's, gotten changed. You're right behind her.
You see me investigating a corner.
And eyeball in the corner.
What's up? Something out of place?
I think I saw a ghost.
Oh, really?
Yeah, interesting stuff. Okay, but we don't have time for this. I'm getting a little sleepy. I'm sure you are too.
Yes, dawn is rapidly approaching.
We close the door.
We close the door,
Okay.
and I'm like, well, I checked the place out. It seems like we're empty and alone here, so we can talk. I think Waylon may have embraced Raphael.
That's an interesting development.
Yeah, so I want you to go over to their club with me when we wake.
All right.
I'm not going to have you go in because he would not be happy if I did
Right.
that. But I may need you to do something for me
All right.
if that's the case. And so I will need to be able to quickly talk to you about it
Okay.
if I'm able to confirm that.
Sounds
Okay?
good. And while we're on the subject of unhappiness,
Uh-oh.
there's something I need to confess.
Okay.
In trying to set up a meeting at the Octagon House for handling the Thin Bloods, I may have said something stupid
Oh.
on the open phone line.
Here? No.
Yes.
Open phone line here, or was it on your cell?
On my cell.
Okay.
And
But open phone line there.
yeah,
Fuck.
yes, it was really bad.
Okay, seriously?
I said-
You and Locke, and now the Pontifex is going to think the Toreador is putting you guys up to this, okay?
No, I said my name and my position.
Oh, jeez. Steve, don't let the power go to your head that quick.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I've tried to start making amends. though.
Okay.
I asked for a favor from Karina. She feels that she can probably fix my end of the problem.
Okay, well, that's at least good for the club.
It's going to cost me, though. She didn't specify what,
Oh,
but I'm sure it's not going to be
well,
cheap.
darling, she's a venturer. Nothing with them is ever cheap.
Isn't that true?
Okay.
Power brokers and power makers right there. Yeah.
Yeah, crap. Okay, well, thank you for telling me. It was a mistake. I'm not angry with you. We all make mistakes, especially...
Not like that.
No, not like that, but, you have a tendency to when you fuck up big.
Well, Locke did say coterie of all things
I
on
know,
the phone, too.
I know,
So
but
not
yeah,
just him.
and let me know what she wants from you.
She hasn't told me yet, but I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure you'll hear from her. She's not one to just let things pass.
And if you'll recall, on the phone call, she said she wasn't 100% sure, but she would try, and if she could, yeah, you'd owe her.
Yeah, so let me know if she's able to do it, and if whatever it is she wants from you, I may be able to assist in some way.
This is my bring to bear.
I understand, but if you need my assistance, don't hesitate. Because I feel like it will kind of be an even trade for what I'm going to have to ask of you tomorrow night.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So, you were both done for the night, and after the exciting but stressful events that have gone on, you, of course, lay down before bedtime. And Steve, of course, stays in the club this night in the basement apartments prepared for him rather than try to cut cross city. Definitely not the time to do it. And you bed down, and the day passes. And during the day, Lily's rest is, like always for Kindred, it's quiet and you don't really dream. Steve, on the other hand, you have a dream this night. While sleeping, you see yourself back in front of the conservatory, facing Chaz. And a woman's voice speaks to you. I would not have thought that the pup would fail me. Why do I think one of the clanless would not? You have been cast out by those who are beneath you. It should not be that way. Serve me, and we will fix it. Serve me, and you will have the power that you want. Serve me, and we will make them pay. And then, nothing else. Everyone make your rouse checks for the next morning.
I'm good. I'm at 1 hunger.
Made it. I'm at 3 hunger.
You're still hungry. You both wake with the setting of the sun. The club still smells faintly. One of the first things you notice is the faint smell of smoke. And Steve, you notice a very odd thing. There is a ring next to the bed on the nightstand. It looks like it could be gold. It's gold colored, but it's a signet ring with a stylized S on it. You don't know how it got there, but you're drawn to it.
Is it the same feeling I had whenever I see the locket?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It calls to you.
I look at it for a second.
It's interesting.
And think about the dream that I had.
Mm-hmm. Now the S is for Steve, of course. Stylized S.
Okay. What size ring is it?
Pinky. It is a signet ring, like something that you might see used to stamp your mark on a piece of wax. And it's a pinky ring, like most signets would be. And it, from the look of it, I mean, it's been a while since you wore a ring, but it looks perfectly sized for you. Now, how it got in the room is an interesting question, but it's there waiting.
Well, may have to. I go to pick it up.
Okay. When you touch it, there is a slight twinge of pain, not enough to cause damage, just slight, but it passes almost immediately. And then it just feels warm in your hands.
Now, does this remind me at all of when I touched?
Yes, but it's not as intense, and it didn't. When you touched the mark on Locke at one point, it burned you, hurt you, and it hurt for a little while before it faded. This one faded almost immediately, but it is the same kind of feeling. Something. It's burning, but it's also cold, and it almost feels. The reminder you have is of your embrace. That last beat of your heart before, as you slipped away into death, before you became a kindred. That's what it reminds you of, that last burst of just death waiting. But then it's gone, and now it's just warm in your hand.
Okay. I look at it and contemplate it for a couple of minutes. Then I look at the rings that I have on the other hand. Mostly mine are silver. This one's gold. But you know what? It's time. Maybe it's time to get new jewelry because I do have new suits. It's time to step out.
Yeah, you didn't wear rings that often normally,
Not often,
but since you become a primogen, you've started to slowly add rings and suits, and you're trying. You haven't been a primogen long, but you've been planning this. There's a look you're going for, I'm sure.
And this would add to it.
Yeah.
So I put it on.
When you put it on, it slides on your finger, and it just feels right. There's no pain. The warmth fades almost immediately. But for a second there, you almost felt alive briefly. But at the same time, not really. More like, alive that you'd feel right before death. It was that adrenaline surge of life that you get still sometimes as a kindred. When in a risk situation, you still feel that sometimes. And you felt it briefly. And then it's gone. And the ring just feels right on your pinky.
Okay. Look at it. Huh. I like it.
Okay. So, what is everyone's plans at first?
My guards are still sleeping in shifts because they're all at the club.
Costing you a pretty penny because
of course,
overtime. But
of course.
Well, for the non-ghouls. The ghouls, of course,
they'll
they
work for
pretty
free.
much at this point they don't live. They live in the club at this point.
Yeah. They get room and board and a stipend.
And still money, right?
And
they're ghouls, so they're not going to complain. You picked them because they had no family,
right?
And their other traits.
And their other traits. They are her best boys. Okay. I get on the earpiece and I actually, no, because do we have a private channel just for the coterie?
No.
Okay.
You have the one between your ghouls and you guys.
Yeah.
But not one set up specifically for the coterie.
So I send Steve a text. Hungry?
Yes, I am. What's on the menu?
Okay. Might have something for you. And I'm heading down towards like the VIP area. And I basically hope that you're coming up. Okay. When we see each other, I let you know. My guards are sleeping in shifts. My regular guards, you can...
Roll wits awareness.
Okay. If you need to take a bite, go for it. Because hunting's going to be... Yeah. Wits awareness?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not your best roll, but...
It's 5, so...
It's the average.
Yeah, it's average. And that is 3.
3. When you see Steve, you do notice that he's wearing a gold ring that you didn't notice before. As a Torador, and as Lily, of course, you know about bling and you keep an eye on bling. Because though you don't wear a lot yourself...
I don't go excessive with it.
But you do know you have a collection.
I do.
But you just don't wear it except when it's appropriate. But you do notice he's wearing a ring that you don't remember seeing last night. Of course, if it's a gold ring, it might not have been the best thing to use and that take with you because gold is soft.
But I am also aware that I helped supply some suits for him and that he's probably been starting to add to his accoutrements. And so I look, I say, new ring?
Yes. Oh. Yes. I've been waiting to wear it. But we've been just kind of I didn't want to damage it and all the...
Okay. Well, very nice. It's a beautiful ring.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
And yes, it has just it's a stylized S.
It's a signet ring.
It looks, right, and it looks like maybe Old English block letters or something from not the Middle Ages, but the Renaissance period for the style of the S.
It's nice. It has a traditional look to it.
Very traditional,
yeah.
actually.
It's very nice. And that's all I note of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I wouldn't think anything of it.
No. But you did notice. So.
Okay, so so I'm going to allow him to eat from my sleeping kind guards if he needs to. And I asked, do you feel like you need backup?
I am pretty hungry.
Okay, I'll go with you. Okay. So we go down to where they're bunking, basically. Find ones that are sleeping.
Okay. So I am going to make Lance make a Dex plus Stealth because I want to see if he wakes one up before.
See if he can be subtle.
Yeah, before he,
And if not, I'm there to smooth it over.
Well, he also, cloud memory works great in these cases. So, yes, you can roll.
Dex plus Stealth.
Yep, and include your 3 hunger dice. This is where it gets ugly.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
But it'll be fine.
Can I give him an extra die, being that I'm here to assist?
Explain to me how you would help him be subtle and sneaky to assist, and if you can give me a good reason, I will give you the die.
I'm just going to gently remind him to be gentle.
Okay. I'll let you have the die.
Okay. You're going to willpower that.
Remember, all your willpower was refreshed.
Yeah, you're going to willpower that. That doesn't matter. You're going to willpower your 3 black die.
Yeah, if you get,
You got nothing with that, so you're going to willpower 3 black die.
You better, because, otherwise that is a bestial failure.
Otherwise...
2.
There you go.
Okay, you got it.
That's enough, because that undoes the bestial failure. I know Lance says, you haven't rolled bestial failures that often. If you fail the roll and get a skull, it's a bestial failure. As long as you pass the roll.
It doesn't count.
Right.
Okay. All right.
I know that there's some that house rule it where you have to have no successes and the skull for bestial failure, but I'm using rules as written. So if you succeed the test it doesn't matter. If the difficulty was more than that, it would have mattered.
Okay.
But it doesn't. So yes, you can safely take 1. 2 will make him weak for the next day. More than that, and we start getting into harmful levels.
Yeah. Why don't I just take 1?
Okay.
Okay.
Just knock the edge off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you take 1, and it drops you down to 2. As you're feeding on him, the blood, you get a melancholy taste from it. Obviously, the stress over the past night has really kind of set into this guard's blood. He was scared through most of the night, and it leaves that taste in the blood. But it doesn't last very long, and it fades away pretty quickly after you've drank it. But you can tell that the events that went on the night before definitely took a toll on the stress levels and the taste of the blood of the ones involved in it. Whether this means you're going to find a lot more of the sadder blood for at least the short term is an interesting thought, because a lot of people might have lost somebody. And the horror of it all, you still don't know the extent of what's going on in the city yet. You haven't turned on the TV to see the death counts or any of that stuff. And you haven't been up long enough to get your report from Thomas or the...
Not yet.
Right.
No, because I wanted to address any potential issues we may have later in the night by addressing anyone's hunger.
Yeah, 2 puts you at least below half, so you've got a buffer.
You've got a buffer. Yeah. So, okay. So I tell you I'm going to go up and meet with Thomas real quick to get a report, and then we can head out to Wayland's if you're okay with that.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, and what's Steve going to do while she's doing that?
Well, we've been out of the club for a bit, so I'll just try to do my usual checks through the club just to see if anything's out of place.
Okay. That would be, of course, your normal intelligence plus technology. Is that just the bug scan? Or are you going through security footage of the night before, or any of that?
If I have time, I mean,
Okay.
I'll do.
Roll the dice.
I'm probably going to be meeting at least 30 minutes with Thomas.
Yeah, she's got time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and roll your
Int.
intelligence plus technology. Include blood dice, of course.
Of course.
Always the blood dice for those.
Okay. Oh, right. I have one more. 2.
2?
Yep.
Okay. We'll get back to you on that one while you're doing your thing. You go up to meet Thomas. Where do you meet him?
In my office.
You call him in your office?
Yeah.
He comes in, of course, and when he steps in, he doesn't salute. He isn't.
No, I'm not
far,
required.
But he does still, like most military members.
He nods.
He does a position of almost parade rest.
Okay.
It's not full military, but his hands are behind his back. You've noticed all your guards do that.
I do that, and I tell him just to have a seat. Let's talk.
Yes, ma'am. I suppose this is our report.
Yep.
Where do you want me to start, with the club or the city as a whole?
Give me the club from the moment we left, and then tell me the city after that.
Well, ma'am, shortly after you left, of course, I do thank you for leaving behind Scott.
Absolutely.
We actually needed him, the extra body.
How is he doing?
All of our officers are well.
I know one had injured a hand.
Yeah, he's doing fine.
Okay.
It'll heal, thanks to the gifts we've been given. It seems we heal rather quickly, so I'm not really worried about that.
Okay, good.
He got hurt in a scuffle out front after we had demolished the building, and of course made a fire break using the building next door. We didn't have any problem with fire, but we did have some problems with just random people looting. It seemed your club has gotten a reputation as having a good stock liquor bar.
Well, of course we do.
There was a number of people who had decided that they would hit your liquor bar there. At least I assume that's what it is, because it wasn't our normal clientele, and it wasn't anything like some of the stuff Ian described to me.
From what we saw in
what
the
he
city.
saw. Nobody was running on all fours, but there was a bit of a fight out
Basically
front.
opportunists.
Yes. We didn't use any of our firearms. We did
Good.
manage to not kill anybody.
Good.
I assume some of them are going to be in a hospital.
Well, serves them right for trying to loot our stuff.
Scott got hurt. He got his hand cut by a knife. Not
Okay.
deep, but it was enough to hurt him. He did take the knife from the guy and repay the favor.
And was it Jeff that broke his knuckles?
Yes, but that was just on a face.
I got you. I'm sure the other guy looked a whole lot worse.
Those will heal. We've been in enough fights. We know to ice them and to wrap them, and thanks to the gifts, of course, it will take long before we'll be better on that.
Couple days. Yeah.
Other than that, the club held up rather fine. I think we fended off 3 different groups through the night.
Okay.
We didn't see any police. Didn't see any of your kind
Okay.
here. It was, to be honest, quieter than I expected, and I'm not quite sure why. It seemed that the disturbances were generally not here. I don't know how the fire started. We have tried to look into that. The video camera footage don't show who started it or how it started, but it did start somehow. And it's the only fire that was on in DuPont Circle.
Oh, interesting.
And it's odd that it burned towards your club and not
Away
any other
from
directions.
It. Right.
So
I will look into that as well, because
Yeah, I
I've been
don't have
hearing
any
of
contacts with
certain others of my kind been having similar problems in their areas. So that this is
Yes.
an ongoing investigation.
I don't
If
have any
you get-
contacts, of course, in the fire group. So my contacts are other areas. I can't.
Yeah,
you know.
that's okay. I will thank you for bringing that detail to my attention, because
Yes,
I
ma'am.
will definitely be looking into that. Okay, city-wise, have you heard any reports on the news yet? Because I haven't had a chance to
News
check.
has been just all over the place. Estimates right now are 300 or 400 dead in the city.
Okay.
A large number of that were residents of the city,
That's
but
a
there was
shame.
a number of tourists injured or killed,
Okay.
and that's where the real pressure's coming down.
Mhm.
There's a lot of outrage over how, on 4th of July something like this could be allowed to happen, of course.
Mhm.
Overall, there's nobody can figure out why. They don't know what started it. Other than they think the first reports of disturbances were right at the edge of southeast and northeast.
I saw a report last night, something about a police shooting or
They
something.
think that's what it started with.
Yeah.
But once it started, it spread through the whole city.
Like wildfire.
Right. And we're not quite sure. Honestly, they don't know what caused it, and they can't explain it. Of course, they've gotten a few of the people who were affected by whatever this drug is, and they're going to do autopsies and try to come to a root cause. But right now, the TV's full of talking heads. I mean, they're blaming everything from video games.
What's the status of the city? Are we under
We're
any
of course
regulations?
we're under a restricted foot traffic. They can't close the streets down. It's DC.
Of course not.
There's too many buildings and too many government facilities that can't shut down during any kind of crisis, honestly. So they have basically closed for the next night businesses, especially nightclubs.
Oh, of course.
But
We're not in a position to reopen right now anyway.
right, and they don't want people on the streets after midnight, but they're not restricting vehicle traffic, and they don't seem to be stopping people as long as they go and they drive somewhere,
They're
get
not
out, and go
loitering.
straight. It's just
Yeah.
any kind of loitering, and any gatherings of more than 4 to 5 people, they have said will be stopped, and if you don't have a reason, you will be detained.
Okay, gotcha.
They're going straight to detain. It is technically a period of martial law at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems there's a lot of pressure for them to be very light-fisted with the martial law. So hopefully this will pass quickly.
Okay.
Because if not, there's going to be some problems come election time, because there's a lot of money tied up in the city, and if businesses aren't open,
Yeah.
money's not being made.
Money
and
doesn't
if businesses
flow.
aren't open, the people working,
People
the federal
lose their
employees
jobs.
working,
Yeah.
can't have lunches, they can't have dinners.
Yeah.
The needed support services aren't going to be going.
Right.
And, the city doesn't work that well.
Right.
I don't know if you've been around when they did shutdowns at various points, but every time the government shuts down, it almost cripples the economy.
No,
because-
unfortunately, I was over on the West Coast, so I wasn't.
Yeah, it
privy
almost
to
cripples
that.
the city's
But I
economy
saw
for
it
a
in the
while.
news. Yeah.
It's rough. So this
Yeah.
is basically the reverse shutdown. It's shutting down all the support buildings.
And the
instead of-
government has nothing to
Right.
lean on.
And
Yeah.
it also hurts all the business owners. So yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of pressure to open this back up.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, good. Has there been any other issues with unrest in the city during the day?
during the day, there were sporadic riots, looting essentially, but that stopped pretty quickly the first time the looters were shot on sight.
Okay.
As the military had said,
So it's been pretty quiet over the last few
yes,
hours?
the
Okay.
the old guard was called out, of course, because they
Mhm.
are the group that's responsible for any kind of martial law in D.C. It's the
Mhm.
old guard that takes charge of it, and they were called out, and they did shoot
Mhm.
some looters that refused to stop what they were doing,
Okay.
and that pretty much, I think, put an end to most of it as soon as they realized that
It was detrimental to their existence.
that the military was serious
Mhm.
and that the weapons were loaded.
Yeah. Okay, got you.
The rumors before that, a lot of people were claiming that there's no way the military gave them live rounds to use on citizens, but this is the nation's capital and they misjudged.
Where did you get the badges? Understand, I'm not mad. It was a genius idea. I would just like to be included so that when shit goes south, I can do damage control.
Well, it's like this. I've got a couple old Army buddies.
Okay.
They were, when they got out, they took jobs in the federal branches as
Mm-hmm.
like most of the military
Like most
types.
do.
We tend to lean towards, police or law enforcement
Security
type
positions.
places.
Mhm.
So I've got some friends in certain agencies
Okay.
that owed me some favors.
Okay.
So I called in the favors. I did this after the raid on the club from ATF.
Makes sense.
I called in a few favors to get cover identities. It's not just a badge, ma'am. These are legitimate badges. They're not fakes.
Okay.
The IDs are legitimate. If you run them through the system, they run through the system.
Mhm.
As long as nobody goes into their personnel jacket, it'll be fine. The personnel jacket, unfortunately, because it's not a real person, does not have the kinds of things you would expect to see, like, evaluation reports from their superiors and their posting assignments, and all of these things don't exist in the records jacket. So we don't want the badges looked at
Lily
closely enough
goes
to pull the records.
To a filing cabinet, pulls out his dossier, slaps it on the table, and says, "So basically, you're telling me this, compared to that, is like 3 times its size."
Yes. And anyone with a brain for what they're doing would know that either this is a completely fake identity or doesn't exist, or the person has been scrubbed from the records for, shall we say, other agencies'
Got you.
coverage.
Got you. Okay. I put his file back and locked the cabinet. And
I'm sorry I didn't tell you, ma'am. I meant to, but it just never came up.
I got you. I got you. Just, it's a brilliant, you have a very strong tactical mind. That is the reason I gave you the position that you have.
Do you know of the full extent, ma'am?
No.
Ian has Federal Protective Services. They have jurisdiction over all the federal buildings, of course, and they have jurisdiction out of federal buildings as long as they're doing something pursuant to the federal businesses or the federal government and the federal properties.
Okay, so what else do you have?
Scott has a marshal's badge, federal marshal,
Oh.
which gives him jurisdiction, of course, over
Yeah.
a much larger jurisdiction, of course. And then I myself have FBI.
Who do you know working in the FBI? Oh dear.
Okay, look.
I just don't. You
when
don't
we
have
were-
to tell me.
Ma'am, when we were in the shit, okay, I know we don't talk about our past much, me and the crew, but I was Delta Force for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and we were in a lot of shitholes. And one of my buddies, I saved his life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, another sergeant. And when he got out, of course, he went to work for the FBI because he's a good man, he's a good soldier, and they love to get hold of training like that.
Oh, of course they do.
And he was connected enough. He's not a field agent with them. He jumped above that. So he has access to things that the field agents don't. And I called in the favor. I saved his life and he owed me. And so I got a badge. As far as he knows, it's for me to, he thinks that I just want it so that, I don't have to worry about tickets. I was known as a bit of a speed demon. And so that I can carry a weapon because, I've always liked my weapons. And so I can go in DC with one. And because that's not something that they will allow most people to just walk around. Security guards can have a weapon on duty, but not off duty. He knows ever since I was in the shit, I can't go without a weapon. It's,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that they told me it's PTSD. I just tell them it's smart. I don't go anywhere without a weapon. And so this badge
there,
lets me go anywhere I want with a weapon. I can even go in most federal buildings. I don't, but as far as he knows,
you're coming
that
with me
allows
tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
You're coming with me tonight. Ian needs a night to recover. He was exemplary last night.
Oh, he gave me the fill-ins, and I'm glad I sent him with him. I'm sorry you had to find out this way.
It is what it is. I'm glad you're being transparent with me now. But do understand that when you make decisions like these, I need to be at least advised. Because if things go south and people find out about me and my kind, everything's fucked.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'll keep you aware in the future, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so you say you're a speed demon.
Yes, ma'am.
Imagine you're fairly skilled with driving. You be my driver tonight.
Yes, ma'am. Steve, as you're going and doing your searching, you're looking around, and as you're checking, to see anything from the video footage, something seems odd with the camera footage from the daytime.
Okay.
Make another intelligence technology roll.
Okay.
You made enough to know something is odd, but you don't know what.
Okay.
Or if you don't want to do intelligence technology, I'll let you go intelligence investigation. But I think technology is your better trade for you.
That's the better one. Got it right. Yeah, there we
You
go.
only have 2 on your case, right?
It's right.
Okay.
Slide your dice tray forward a little so I can just slide it this way. So that way I keep an eye on your mute so that you don't accidentally forget to unmute. 3. About 3 p.m. The clock stops moving on the cameras on the basement floor. It's like somebody paused the video.
Okay.
It's actually, you'll notice it's a rolling through the club itself. You don't see anyone. It just pauses on a blank, empty screen. And at about 3:10, it's like it was unpaused, but it basically jumps to the 10-minute mark.
Okay.
Don't think it's supernatural. You think somebody stopped the video. It doesn't affect the 3rd floor or the VIP level. Only the 1st floor in the basement. Somebody fed a fake signal or a looped signal of a freeze frame into the security system for about a 10-minute period.
Okay.
And then it suddenly works again.
Okay. I would be tempted to start looking a lot deeper into what's going on.
They did what's described. They had to put a tap in somewhere, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Can't do it wirelessly. So,
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so I basically am done with my meeting now, and Thomas is getting the car ready for me to go, and I text Steve and say, okay, I'm ready to head over.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Okay. So when you go out of the club, yeah, it is.
And I'm not announcing before I show up.
No, when you leave the club, it is about what you'd expected. It's burnt building, 2 buildings up. The building next to is tore down. You still don't know how that's going to play out because.
What's O'Malley's
Yeah.
gone.
Which
I
was one of the first places you went.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you
I'm making a note because actually Lily might have a plan for that.
Okay. And the streets are, of course, the pedestrian areas. I mean, there's nobody walking on the street except police. See military vehicles going back and forth. There's vehicle traffic's even light, but there is some. There's a lot of black SUVs being driven around town at the moment. There's some obvious civilian cars, but there's a lot that's even light. It seems people have got their heads down at this point.
Can I put in Sense the Unseen? Just because I've seen ghosts on this drive before, just to look around to see if I see anything.
Okay,
I'm rolling wits awareness too.
Resolve plus Auspex for your Sense the Unseen.
Okay.
And then you can roll your wits awareness to see if you're being followed.
I did a wits awareness. I got 3.
Okay, I'm gonna roll it for Thomas.
3.
Oh, nice roll for Thomas. Very nice.
And I got 4 on resolve aspects for Sense the Unseen.
Okay. It's odd. The spirits are kind of muted tonight. You do catch sights of them here and there, but not many, not what you'd expect. And they don't seem agitated like you'd seen recently. They're more look of profound sadness on a lot of them's faces.
There's a lot of death last night.
Yeah. And there's not many. It's not, I mean, DC's a noted haunted city, and it's not many.
Things are settling down.
Yeah, things are settling down a bit. During the ride over, I assume you tell them to go to the Black Magic.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see any Strix this night. They're gone. Whatever brought them here, they've left. So, riding over there, of course.
I want to park in the back.
Okay. You don't see Kindred or kind on the street. You see a lot of vehicles, military. The only kind you see is the cops, Capitol Police, FBI, and you can tell it's FBI because they're wearing the vests that say the FBI. All of them in full bulletproof attire. It's obvious. Military units driving around. There's a number of Humvees. At least the 50 cal isn't mounted on top, but because even that wouldn't be allowed in DC. That's a bit excessive for that. But you get over to the Black Magic, and getting over there, the devastation is a lot more as you get out of your area. You're not quite sure why, but as you leave DuPont Circle, there's a lot more damage done. The damage in DuPont was
Minimal,
and it doesn't make sense.
Oh, no, it does.
Ways.
Who's sleeping under there?
But the damage to it itself was minimal.
Yeah.
The other area, as you get over, not far actually from DuPont Circle, is just 2-3 blocks north of you, is the Black Magic. Just outside of, actually 2 or 3 blocks from your domain, is the Black Magic. When you get there, of course, the club is standing.
Do I see any lights on by chance?
There's lights on inside, yes.
Okay.
You also see 2 of the front windows are boarded up.
Okay, I'm gonna go around the back.
They weren't boarded up before, so.
Well, no, but I haven't been there since before the riot.
Right.
So
there's 2 of them fully boarded up, and there's broken glass out front of the building. So it's obvious that
they got hit hard.
Somebody tried to come through and bust out his windows to get in. But yeah, the door is closed. The front lights are off, but the interior lights are on.
We're going to go around back because they have a back door. We've gone in before.
And while we're seeing this, and just want to mention to you that what I saw on the video is something we really need to look around the club.
Yeah, talk to my boys. Get them to help you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, talk to my talk to my boys. They need to help you with that.
Yeah.
Okay? And if you find anything, let me know. I'll pull in any contacts I can to help track them down.
Right.
Okay.
So, you go up to the back door, and Steve is staying in the vehicle with Thomas.
Yeah.
You want us to just wait here, ma'am? Drive around, or just?
Just wait here.
Yes, ma'am. We should be okay.
You should be okay.
As long as we stay with the vehicle, they shouldn't say anything.
Yeah, and you're back behind the club. It's not noticeable. Okay. You look like a parked car.
Yes, ma'am.
So.
Okay, so you go and go up to the back door. You go in the back door or the receiving?
Back door.
The back door? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to knock on the back door.
Okay, you knock. There's no response at first. Takes a few minutes.
I'm going to wait.
For them to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
And when the door opens...
Who is it?
It's Raphael. Looks a bit disheveled. He looks not quite tired, but the clothes he's wearing do show a little bit of blood and damage to him. It looks like there was an injury. You don't know if it's his or not.
How much blood? A lot?
No, not a lot,
okay.
But enough.
Uh-huh.
Enough that... You got any medicine training?
Yes, I do.
Intelligence medicine.
Okay. Or could I do biology?
Sure.
Okay. Yep. That is 4-5.
It looks like there was a single arterial shot onto his clothing.
Oh, shit.
But only one.
Yeah, but that'd be enough to kill him.
You could surmise maybe somebody clamped down on it before more shot, or somehow stopped. But there was one good pattern that you suspect, based on the color of the blood and everything.
Has he said anything to me?
He looks at you and goes, "It's not safe, Lily. Come inside. Come inside. Come inside."
Okay.
And
I grab his hand.
Hang on. You notice that he's not... His skin is a lot paler than it was before.
I grab his hand, but the way I grab it, I have a finger on his pulse point. Do I feel a pulse?
Feel cold hands. Come... Get in...
I'm coming. Jesus Christ.
You figured it out, didn't you?
Of course.
I'm sorry. Good evening, Lily.
It's okay. You don't have to be on your A game tonight.
Well,
I understand. This is sudden and traumatic, and I get it. It's okay.
Even things such as etiquette are an art form.
I understand, but I'll give you a pass tonight. It's okay.
It's part of the greeting. What kind of proprietor of a club would I be if I did not greet guests? I am off tonight, but...
Is he here?
He's here. He won't come out of his office, ma'am. Or Lily. He just... I'm sorry.
How are you?
Well, I'm here. I exist. I'd like to tell you I'm still alive, but...
I know.
It's not what I wanted.
It's not.
I didn't want...
No, you were happy the way you were.
Then again, the choice was this or death. And I can't complain. He saved me, but I don't know how to feel. From what I understand and what he's saying, this is not good. No permission.
No, he needed permission to do it.
Yeah, that's what I've gathered, and so I'm not...
But that's why I'm here.
He's talking packing up.
No.
Starting over.
No. He doesn't need to. I think I have a way to protect you both.
How,
You know I'm fond of both of you fellas.
I know. I don't want to be an inconvenience. I didn't choose this, but I mean...
I literally, because he's starting to ramble at this point, I just hug him.
Okay. Yeah.
I hug him. And I tell him, I'm like, I got you boys. I will take care of this.
You feel like he shudders slightly, like a sob, but he manages to hold on to himself at this point. And he goes, just thank you. You've been kind to me and been kind to Wayland. But
Who is
maybe
he
you
tonight?
can talk to him.
Who is he tonight?
I honestly don't know.
Okay, well, let's
Because he
go find
won't come out of the office.
Let's go find out, shall we, darling?
While you're doing that, you're waiting in the car with Thomas and your phone rings. Your cell phone.
Okay.
It's a number you recognize. It's Karina's number.
Oh boy, here it comes.
Okay. You answer the phone?
Yep. Hi, Karina.
Hey, Steve. I looked into what you wanted me to look into, and I've made some progress, and that's some good news and all, but I think you and I should have a talk. We need to meet.
Understood.
It's not the kind of thing we should talk over the phone. We should meet in person, just me and you.
When and where?
How about 1 a.m. at the Lincoln Memorial? Don't worry about the curfew and everything going on. I'll make sure that that's taken care of. But 1 a.m. Lincoln Memorial, by yourself, of course, because you and I have some private business to discuss.
Understood.
I'm glad that you're doing all right, though, because last night was ugly.
Yes, it was.
But it's uglier than you realize. And we'll talk about it, of course.
It usually is.
Yeah, this isn't really the time or place. But yes, just we need to have this talk and try not to let everyone know you're coming to meet with me. It's probably not a good idea for you.
Okay. All right. I will
Okay, well, see you then.
All right. See you then.
You
Karina.
know where I'll be.
Yes.
And then she hangs up. And I think this will be a good spot to break before you go into the full Wayland meeting.
Okay.
Because this one's going to be long enough, I think.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be a
So
whole slew of shit.
we're going to go to break for about 10 minutes. But I just want to point out that there's consequences for actions, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
And if Wayland embraced outside of permission, there's a consequence for him. And a consequence that is rough on Raphael, too.
Hell, it's going to be rough on Lily to have to do what she has to do.
Yeah, and then Steve, of course, who likes to use the phone to announce he's the primogen. There's consequences for that, too, and I have a feeling it's about to come due.
Yep. Sounds that way to me, too.
Because she was not as friendly as usual.
Rent is due.
Yeah, she was not the friendly Karina you're used to. So we will go on break, and we will be back in 10 minutes. Enjoy
Hang
the new
tight,
break.
guys. We'll be back.
We've got new artwork added, of course, so
Yeah.
be back in 10 minutes.
Allow me to introduce myself, though I fear you've heard my name, that you've heard the story of Countess Bathory. History is told by the victors, heroic warriors, and mad kings. Will you hear my story from the lips of Bathory? They call me Blood-sucking demon, queen of hell, sadistic killer, a monster tale, bathing in the blood of virgins, beautiful, drinking the blood of never offered. All my confessors were all tortured, or how they destroyed me for my property. They put me up, shut me up, shut me up, put me up, put me up, shut me up, and told a story of a bitch called Bathory. Let's sucking demon, queen of hell, sadistic killer, a monster tale, bathing in the blood of virgins. Splinters of my soul cut through your skin and burrow within, and burrow within. Splinters of my soul cut through your skin and burrow within, and burrow within. Splinters of my soul cut through your skin and burrow within, and burrow within. I've always been the hunter, nothing on my tail. But there was something in you I knew could make that change. To capture a predator, you can't remain the prey. You have to become an equal in every way. So look in the mirror and tell me, who do you see? Is it still you, or is it me? So embrace the darkness, and I will help you see that you can be limitless and fearless if you follow me. We are the lions in a world of lies. We are the predators, the hunters, the hunters, the hunters. Become the beast. We don't have to hide. Do I terrify you? Do you feel alive? Do you feel the hunger? Does it howl inside? Does it terrify you? Or do you feel alive? Splinters of my soul cut through your skin and burrow within, and burrow within. Splinters of my soul cut through your skin and burrow within, and burrow within. Splinters of my soul cut through your skin and burrow within, and burrow within. Splinters of my soul cut through your skin to burrow within. Do you burrow within? Do you feel the hunger? Does it howl inside? Does it terrify you? Or do you feel alive?
Welcome back to DC by Night. Vengeance Waits. Chapter 2. Before the break, Lily found out for sure that Raphael is now a member of the Kindred, embraced without permission, no less, with a prince that is known to be,
Harsh.
rather a stickler for certain rules and for his law. We'll see how that goes. And of course, Mr. Perry, Primogen, Kaitif, got a nice little phone call from Karina. We'll see how that one's going to play out. So, you just got off the phone with Karina. Is something else you were wanting to have a talk with?
All right, Thomas. So while we're sitting here waiting, and I know you guys have had more than enough on your plate, but I was looking through the security film, and there's a period around 3 o'clock.
About 3 o'clock.
Yeah, that time just seems to stand still for maybe about 10 minutes for the basement and first floor. So something's very off. Do you guys recall seeing anything?
Wait a minute, Steve. Just the basement and first floor?
Yes.
Okay, because I know we, the VIP, the officers, we were watching VIP floor and the third floor, especially with Miss Lily sleeping and resting from the long night. And he looks around, because he's not going to say too much in the even sitting in the vehicle outside, he's not going to say too much. But the first floor and the basement was generally being watched by the other guards. You say just like stopped and then started back up?
Looked like that. Like maybe someone had looped in some other footage just to keep it steady state. But it looked like time kind of just didn't pass for 10 minutes, and then the clock suddenly jumped ahead 10 to 10 after.
Odd. I'll see if I can find out who was working, who was awake and who was sleeping at that period, so we can narrow it down. Do you have any idea how they did it?
No,
because I know they wouldn't have been in the third floor security room, because that's always one of us. Not.
Yeah, I need to investigate that. I don't know quite how that happened.
Yeah, I'll pull up a list of who was working on that one. I'll have to double check the records and see who was awake. But yeah, that doesn't sound right, and I don't like any, given what's been going on, any kind of security issues of that type. So I'll let you know. Does Miss Lily know?
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah, I told her.
Okay. Just want to make sure, I'll let the both of you know as soon as I find something out. Once we get back to the club tonight, I'll start.
Sounds great.
We'll have a meeting with me and the other officers, and we'll figure out who was on the schedule then and who was up, who was down, and because that was a period of time I was sleeping, because I figured I needed to be fully alert when I met with Miss Lily when she woke up. So I believe that was the period that Scott was running the camera rooms. So
okay, well, I'll talk to him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for letting me know that. That's kind of important. Interesting. Just seems odd. Only a 10-minute period. I don't even know what. I mean, you were on the basement level, so there's nothing valuable really other than the liquor, the kitchens, and your floor. And you guys don't really have anything too valuable you keep down there. I know Locke would argue that everything of hers is valuable, of course, but don't get me started on Miss Locke. She's interesting. Yeah. I'll look into it for sure.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So, Raphael takes you back.
Mm-hmm.
You've been this way before. You know where the office is. When you come up to the door, of course.
Well, while we're walking, I just happened to mention to Raphael, so, welcome to Clan Toreador. Thank goodness I'm your primogen and not Chaz.
Yeah, there is that. And I'm still alive? Not alive? I'm here.
You're here. You exist.
I guess I got eternity
to figure it out.
Yeah, I guess I do now.
But
still not big on the.
Have you eaten?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I did.
I know it's unpleasant the first time.
The one who got me, Waylon kept him for me.
Oh, that's apropos.
As an explanation, that they were breaking in. Me and Waylon were trying to keep him from coming in.
Mm-hmm.
They broke out the front window, and we were fighting, and some guy caught me with a blade or a piece of glass or something right over here. Mm-hmm. And you can see, actually, he's got a scar.
Scar line.
Because anything done beforehand, before you become a kindred, scars would still be there. It healed from him being turned, but the scar is still there.
I gently touch it.
Yeah, it's a
and
small scar.
Gives you character.
Is it? I mean, I don't even know. I just know that I felt it. I went down, and the next thing I know, Chaz is over me holding me.
Not Chaz.
Or, sorry, Wayland is over me holding me. And then I felt the burning pain. I assume he had to drain me first.
Yeah.
Before.
But it wouldn't have taken much, because with that kind of nick, you would have bled out really fast.
I've seen people get cut like this before, in my misspent youth, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not grateful, but it was a shock.
It is. It's always a shock.
We'd had talks before, and I told him I didn't want this, but I guess he understood I didn't want death either. I mean, he's lost without me anyway, isn't he?
He truly is. What would he do without you?
If I was gone,
what would he do without you?
Can make it. And when you get to the door, yeah, the door is closed.
I also asked him his last name.
I don't really have one now. Raphael's not my real name. That's what I went by on the street.
Okay. What do
there's
you
a story-
choose
There's
to
a
go by
story
now?
behind that, by
That's
the way.
okay. You don't have
It's
to
an
go into
interesting
it now.
story. But there's actually a story.
What would you like to be called now?
I've been Raphael for so long.
Just Raphael.
Just Raphael.
Okay,
It's,
that's fine.
It's a joke
Okay.
about turtles.
I actually get that reference.
Yeah.
Very cute. Very cute.
It was a very
Mm-hmm.
me some size. It was a
Mm.
it was a long-standing joke.
Okay, well, good. So
You know how-
I'm sure we arrive at the door now.
Yeah, and he comes to the door and he goes, "It's locked. I've got a key." But every time I put the key in the lock, he starts screaming again. And you hear inside wailing, "Go away!"
Wayland, it's Lily. Open the door.
What do you want?
What do you think I want? You're not an idiot.
Here's some scrambling, and the door gets thrown open, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not the Raphael you're used to seeing.
Not Wayland. I'm used
Or
to.
sorry, the Wayland. I'm bad with voices. I took my
Bad
meds
with
and I'm still
names.
bad with names. I'm having a bad day. My words are getting mixed up again. Yes, it's not the Wayland. He's not groomed. He's not well kept at the moment. His hair is kind of a ratty mess.
Oh, he's stressed out.
He's obviously been crying at some point because there's still remnants of blood tears on his face. His clothes are a mess of blood. And the office is trashed.
Of course it is. So he opens the door.
Yep. Have you come to tell me how I fucked up?
No. And I walk up to him and I hug him.
He kind of recoils at first when you hug him.
I'm not letting go. This poor man needs a hug.
And it takes a minute or two before he finally kind of relaxes. And he's crying a bit, just a little. I fucked up. I know I fucked up. Okay.
I'm not here to beat you up about it. Any of us could have done this.
So once he finds out, I mean, I'm going to... I have to watch for shadows for that.
I'm here to
Victoria?
talk about that. I'm here to talk about that. I have a plan.
How did you find out?
I'm good, Wayland. I've been telling you this all along.
And you hear Raphael snicker. And Wayland kind of breaks the hug, and he's a little more composed now. He's still not...
No.
He's got a look in his eyes that you're not used to seeing. The look reminds you a bit of Locke, when Locke is on the streets.
So it's Renee.
So it's the darting eyes, the constantly...
Yeah, paranoia.
Yeah, not paranoia, but awareness, watching.
Vigilance.
Yeah, watching. Always looking, looks at you, looks at Raphael, looks past. Always like looking to see what's around him.
And I look at Raphael and say, close the door and lock it just to make sure we are secure.
And he looks over at Wayland, and Wayland just kind of nods a little. And I'll be out here. Down the hall, just scream.
Okay.
And you hear the door shut, and you hear steps retreat down the hallway.
Okay.
He apparently is going to give you the privacy.
Okay.
And Wayland's like, he looks at you and I didn't want to do it, but I couldn't lose him. And he was so hurt. And
I understand.
Stanford's going to kill us both.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
You're good,
Your
but you're not that good.
Your Primogen has some dirt on our dear prince.
Don't say anything else.
Not saying anything else. But needless to say, I will do what I have to preserve you and Raphael. Of our entire clan, you two have been the only ones to openly support me. I am not losing either one of you.
I suppose you're kind of right there. I mean, it's not like you can count on Angelique. And
Oh, she's a ticking time bomb waiting to get dusted.
And Chaz is...
Yeah, he's damaged goods.
Well, he's
Oh,
He's
yeah.
the kind of guy we used to roll in alleys. And at that, you know you're not talking to Wayland at the moment. Wayland never refers to.
So I
his
look at him and say,
youth.
so I'm in the presence of Renee.
And his eyes shoot up. What do you know?
I'm very good, darling.
Raphael's been running his damn mouth again. He's always was a snitch.
I am a friend.
Wayland couldn't handle it.
I know.
It's a bit much for him last night.
I know.
So once again, I had to bail his ass out. He'll be back, don't worry. I don't stay long. But he wasn't equipped to handle last night. He'd have let Raphael die.
Which...
And as much as Raphael didn't want to be one of us, he's been loyal. He's been a friend. I wasn't going to let him die. And I'll be damned if I let the prince take him. And you can see the shift. The mask is falling away. It's not.
No, I
him to-
appreciate this transparency.
Also, the
I can work with this.
rattled part
It's done.
is done.
And I just look at him and I said, you and I are on the same page. I don't want either one of you to get got for this. It was an impulsive decision.
Never could keep my temper.
I'm aware. I've had dealings with you before, which is
I know.
why I had Raphael tell me about it.
I know. You get used to a certain thing over a number of years and certain patterns, and then people begin to see what they want to see, what they expect to see. And I got sloppy.
That's okay.
It happens. But
That's okay. I'll accept you however you come.
well, I mean, you get in Wayland. I'm just here to help out.
I understand. So, there will need to be...
The price, huh?
Yeah,
There's
unfortunately.
always a price.
There has to
I'm
be.
used to it. There was a price on the street for everything.
You do understand that this is going to be significant risk and cost for me.
You could just let me run. I could do it.
And how far do you think you'd get from the Shadow Dancer?
There's limits. You just have to find me first. I know how to go to ground. We've done it before.
I know you do, and you
I don't
didn't
wanna
when I
give up.
told you to.
I don't want to give up what I have. Wayland sure as hell don't want to give up what he's built. But
This insurance pays for. That can't be covered.
it's true.
Priorities, dear.
So what's your proposal?
Well, as Wayland, you are now herald to the prince.
Here, Wayland is, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, he'll be back.
I know.
Never was strong enough to do what had to be done when it needed. That's why I'm still here.
I need eyes and ears in the court. Because I'm going to be busy with Primogen business now.
See, you want me to be your stool pigeon. Sing like a canary? Is that what it is? You want me to be your informant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When things need to be passed around, they need to swing by my way first.
I mean, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, but I'm not the one who's going to be doing it. Now, am I? It'll be him. He likes you enough. Plus, sure you understand who's really in control. It's not him.
I know.
I'll make sure he toes the line.
Okay, I appreciate that. And you have made some fuck-ups recently. Beyond this is just the biggest of them.
Like I said, getting sloppy.
I'll
I've been in the
expect a
groove
bond.
for a while. I'll see. That I'm not so sure about.
Well, if what I do gets me killed and gets all of us killed because it fails, you don't really have to worry about it, do you? But if it succeeds, it will only be for a temporary time, just to ensure that you can stop making sloppy mistakes.
You know, the interesting thing of this is nobody's ever tried to bond me. You can bond Waylon. We'll see whether it even works on me.
Whether it takes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Be an interesting bit of knowledge. For me, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. But he's...
There's far worse, like Stanford, you could be bonded to.
Yeah, well, that's the truth there. Waylon gets a little whiny, though, when
At least I am a
he doesn't get
friend.
his thing. And I owe Raphael for a number of years of loyalty, so you can bond Waylon.
Okay.
Whether it works on me, I guess
We shall
we'll
see.
find out.
All right. Well, I have to go talk to the prince now.
And you see him, Waylon. And you see the transformation start coming over him again, where the eyes get a little bit more panicked, the face sags down some. His posture shifts, kind of hunches in on himself as Raphael comes to the door. She's going to help. She has a plan. I don't want to know the details. You don't want to know details, but she's going to help. But if it doesn't work, we're running for it anyway. And Raphael just kind of looks at you.
Mm-hmm.
You think you can fix us? I mean, I know enough from being with Waylon so long about the magnitude.
Mm-hmm. I do. I want y'all to sit tight. I will be back tonight.
And you hear Waylon goes, okay, well, Raphael, turn all the lights in the building on, just in case. I want every room.
Every light on, just in case, guys.
I want every room.
Uh-huh.
And Raphael just kind of
Uh-huh.
shakes, kind of tells and goes, you'll have to fill me in on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Okay.
Okay. So I excuse myself and say I will be back as soon as I can.
Okay.
And I walk back out to the car.
And as you're going back out, Raphael stops you on your way out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for what it's worth thinking.
Of course.
I know this is dangerous, but if you can't save me, save him.
Oh, darling. I'll make sure I save you both.
If you
I
have to
understand
make
what
the
you're saying.
choice.
I know what you're saying. But that is unacceptable to me. I will save you both.
I just had to say it.
I know.
Okay.
So I walk out.
Okay. And you come out to Thomas and Steve sitting in the car.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're just chilling.
Okay, I get back in the car.
Okay.
And what
Obviously,
time? I'm
you can
checking
see
the time.
Lily's a little bit distressed. It would probably be by now about 10:30. There's quite a bit
Okay.
of time left before your
So,
appointment.
I'm going to tell him to. I'm going to tell Thomas just hold tight. I need to make a call. I'm going to call Karina.
Okay. Phone rings and
Hang on, don't tell me anything yet.
hey, Lily,
Hi, Karina.
how you doing?
I'm,
Everything fine for you
oh,
guys?
I'm delightful, darling. How are
Great.
you?
We're doing well. I hid out with Stanford all night, so I was
I
pretty
had
safe.
a very eventful evening, but of course,
you didn't stay in your club the whole night.
of course not. Please, you can't keep a good girl down.
I know that there's a stereotype of your kind going to parties, but this is a bit excessive. I mean, that's not the time to be
Oh,
partying.
I would honestly say it wasn't really a party, but it was never a dull moment. That's for
I
sure.
bet. It's just wow. So, what can I do for you tonight?
I need to see Stanford urgently.
Okay,
And
urgently.
privately.
And privately. Well, I mean, he'll decide the privately part, of course.
Of
I'll
course.
let him know. Urgently. Like, how urgently?
Immediately.
And you want it private? Okay. How about this? I'll send somebody by to get you at your club. Okay?
Okay.
It'll be a black GMC. Less questions asked with that particular vehicle. And you'll be taken... they'll pick you up about 12:30. I've got an appointment at 1 anyway. So what I'll do is I'll arrange for you to see Stanford at 1. Since I've got an appointment I got to make anyway.
Okay.
And that way you can go and talk to him. And while I'm dealing with the appointment, that way you get your privacy you want and I can handle some things I got to take care of.
Okay.
Does that seem like a good plan?
That's acceptable.
Okay. And I'll send a vehicle around. Don't worry. The driver knows where to take you.
Okay.
And he's safe. He's one of mine.
Okay.
So
thank you.
it's not Skaggs. I wouldn't do that. It'd be
Thank
funny,
you.
but I won't send Skaggs to pick
Please
you up
don't
because,
do
well,
that. Well, you know,
I know how you type are about,
and we do get along pretty well, Karina. So let's not soil that, okay?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I tell you, Skaggs has his uses. He's a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm sure
but
he
I'm
is.
not gonna send him to you because really, I mean, he doesn't really. I can't even understand what he says most of the time. Still,
Yeah, it kind of sounds like Batman.
Almost, but I mean, that voice is just oh, man.
Yeah, it's the missing teeth.
I suspect. Hopefully, it's just that because I've been joking with Stanford. I'm going to get him some dentures.
Oh, jeez, Karina.
No, you know, I'm trying to. I mean, I'm not one of you guys, but it's hard to get things done when you can't understand.
When you can't understand what your subordinates are saying.
Yeah,
I get it.
Not one of mine, but he was stuck.
Yeah, but
you
you're
know
still
how it
stuck
is.
with him, so
yeah. It's just the perils and pitfalls of power.
All right.
and
Well,
that.
thank you so much for coordinating that for me, dear. And we do still need to do our social call once things settle down.
We will. As you can no doubt guess, it's going to be busy for me for a little while.
Yeah, you and I alike. Trust me.
This was an interesting night in general, and it's got all my people riled up. And man, I'm sure. Just to give you a heads up here, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a Primogen Council meeting declared very soon to talk about this.
I'm certain.
I'm not gonna. There's other developments. The Pontifex is in an uproar at the moment, so. Yeah, I'm not gonna give out too much, but let's just say he's a little upset and he's gonna want to have a meeting to talk some shit with the other Primogen, and he's being a real pain,
Yes,
but,
well.
Yeah, just wanted to give
Okay,
you a heads
well, I
up.
appreciate that heads up, darling. Thank
Hey,
you so much.
I'm looking. I still owe y'all for the Guido incident. Well,
Oh, I'm sure we'll settle up at some point.
Oh, we'll see what we can do.
Well, thank you so much, and I will expect your driver.
About 12:30 should be enough time. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Have a good night, Lily.
You too.
Yep.
And I hang up.
Marked difference in the way she was speaking.
Okay.
Compared to the two of y'all.
So I tell Thomas to go ahead and take us back to the club.
Okay.
And
Yes, ma'am.
I look at him and I notice you look upset too, and I'm like, you okay?
Yeah. Hopefully.
Okay.
Not sure.
Okay. Yeah, it happened. I have a baby Toreador in my clan. Yay. At least it's one that's favorable to me. But
You should be happy occasionally.
it should be, but the problem is the logistics of it, because Wayland didn't have permission.
Well, it was kind of a spur of the moment thing.
And how do you think Stanford's going to care about that?
He won't care.
Yeah, exactly. So, of course, we have the divider up, so Thomas can't hear us. And
even if he heard you, he wouldn't.
He wouldn't care.
He's thoroughly bound.
Yes, he is. So, I'm pretty certain that Stanford would not like Felix to know that he ordered a hit on Stephen.
Yeah, that's probably pretty.
At least not at this time. Eventually it won't much matter. But I guarantee you it hasn't been enough nights for Felix to be completely bound to him yet. And if Felix found out that Stephen was murdered on Stanford's order after claiming fealty to Stanford, Stanford would not be able to secure his power in this city.
At least not with Felix.
Not with Felix. Felix would run right back to his allies in the tower. And Stanford would be done. So, the sheriff is an idiot and told us.
I was there.
I know. He actually enlisted you to participate.
Yes.
And then and when I asked him what was going on, he told us.
Yes.
So, because, I mean, I could have seen it as, the sheriff doing a favor for one of his NOS because Stephen was, had done something against Glenn. I could have seen that. But when he said, the prince says hello to him as he was killing him and then turned to me and told me that the prince ordered it. Well,
even you, Kindred, get the Game of Thrones reference.
Yeah. Yeah. And, so basically that is I'm going to request that the prince, because I had his favor, consider it transferred for progeny to Wayland. And if he doesn't go for that suggestion, I'm going to blackmail him.
You have moved up to the big leagues.
Yes, I have. But in order for it to work, because he could easily have me killed right there, and it doesn't go anywhere. So I have an exit strategy, something he's not known for. So
Fair.
I have an exit strategy.
Fair point.
You were there, you've seen it, but you're also tied to my coterie. So it's going to be an assumption, just a given assumption by Stanford, by the Scourge, by everybody, that you would be involved in me doing this, okay? So unfortunately, you're at risk too, and I'm sorry for this. But I need you to tell someone that isn't known to be truly associated with me.
Good plan.
I need you to tell Ludlow.
Okay.
Because while we know I have some association with him, nobody else in this city really does.
Right.
All they know is that I know him in passing, and I was generally nice to him at the coronation, but they haven't seen me really working with him or anything.
Right.
So I need you to get in touch with Dr. Philo, find out where they're staying,
Because Ludlow did say he was staying
Right.
with Dr. Philo.
and go see him.
Okay.
How soon are you available to do that?
Well, I overheard you talking to Karina.
Yeah, she's going to have somebody pick me up at 12:30 to go meet with the prince at 1.
Well, oddly enough, I have an appointment at 1 with Karina.
Oh, she's quick.
Yes, she is.
Oh, man.
Yes, the bill came due very
Oh,
quickly.
man. Okay. So you're going to be busy with her while I'm busy with the prince. Is she having someone pick you up, or are you going on your own?
I'm assuming that I'm going on my own. She did not mention anything about anyone picking me up.
Okay, so if you're going on your own, have one of my boys drive you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Scott's hand's hurt, so you.
Yeah, no, it can be Thomas. It can be Thomas because Thomas isn't driving me later.
Yeah, because you have Thomas hurt. And
Thomas isn't hurt.
Jeff
Scott's
was hurt.
Jeff is hurt.
Yeah, Scott and Jeff were hurt. So you
Yeah,
have
and
Thomas
Ian is currently
Ian.
resting.
Yeah.
So Thomas is the one available. Scott can be there to supervise the staff, and
just
He's
when
just
your
hurt,
hands
not
are
going
injured,
out.
you don't
Yeah.
want them doing the steering wheel with
Yeah.
an injured hand.
No.
And just on the off chance that it plays into your plan, just to let you know that I'll be meeting with her at the Lincoln Memorial.
Oh, okay. So, okay. I don't think I'll need to mention that to Stanford at this time.
No, please don't.
No, I won't, because that would just be ugly for everyone involved. But I'll keep that in my pocket. But once you're done with her, plan, like if you need to between now and then, contact Dr. Philo to find out where you are, and then plan to go immediately there after meeting with her.
Right.
If you need to, tell Ludlow I'm calling in the boon that he owes me for saving him. Okay?
Okay.
So you're going to contact Philo before your meeting with Karina, but then go see him after? Is
Yeah.
that
Yes.
your plan?
Yes,
Yeah.
because just in case things go badly with Karina, I don't expect it to.
No, she's just going to lay out the
Terms,
blackmail.
yeah. But just in case.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, and what I want you to do is Send Thomas back after you get to Ludlow. I want you to
Okay.
hang out there.
Okay.
Okay? I will text you if I am successful and safe. If you do not hear from me before an hour before dawn,
Mm-hmm.
you and Ludlow are tasked with making sure Felix and every other fucking kindred in this city knows what Stanford did.
Okay. Understood.
Bold plan. Fortune favors the bold.
Mhm.
But
But there's a chance I could get dusted for
bold
this.
also die.
So,
Only the bold die young, right? Isn't that what they say?
Well, for vampires that are supposed to be immortal, they never seem to last very long.
no, because we all ballsy as fuck.
And it's dog-eat-dog politics.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get much more Machiavellian than trying to blackmail your own damn prince.
Mm-hmm.
The
I have
darkness is coming.
I have a way to smooth it over, I believe, but hopefully he'll be smart and just take the easy way first. But I know him. I've worked with him enough. He won't. Okay.
So at this time, you get back to the club.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to roll the wits awareness to be followed because, frankly, with the streets as
They're
like
empty.
they are and the roads
Yeah.
like they are, anyone following you would be about as obvious. They couldn't be more obvious if they put strobe lights on their vehicle at this point because there's just not enough vehicles. And you get back to the club, and when you do, of course, the very first thing Tom says, "I'm gonna go look into that for you." What we talked about in the vehicle, I'm gonna check on that and find out what we got.
And I look at you and say, thank you for bringing that up to him. My boys will really look into it.
Yeah. So they're going to look into it. And you get back at this point, it was about 10:30 before?
Yeah, so it's about
11:30 in that range. You got about an hour to kill. So you got some stuff you can do here.
Lily's going to go to her quarters for a private moment.
Okay. You go into the quarters. Now, you got a call to make, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
To Dr. Pilo.
Yep. Give me 1 second to write here. Okay, there we go. Just writing some stuff down. Okay, so you've got a number, of course, that you've been given to contact Dr. Philo. When you call the phone, Dr. Philo is answering service. Goodfellow speaking. How may I help you?
Good evening.
Watch that.
Yeah.
You need to scoot down
No,
so you don't
no,
bust
I'm
your
good.
elbow. You
I'm
can.
good. It's all
I mean,
right.
look at this big tape.
Not big enough. Need a bigger table.
Yeah. Ooh, banquet. Okay. So
Good fellow. I'm a little.
you're not going to say you're
Oh,
Steve
no.
Perry Primogen of the?
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm. No, this is Steve.
Yes, Mr. Perry, I believe.
Yes.
How can I help you tonight?
I was hoping to arrange a meeting with Dr. Ludlow and Dr. Philo.
Dr. Philo is out, but Dr. Ludlow is in tonight. And I must say he is positively chatty. He is himself.
So is he a little hungry? Does he want to get anything?
I asked him that, of course, but he has declined at this time.
Okay.
He said the streets aren't safe and he doesn't really feel like going out for a bite to eat. I said we could do room service, of course, but he says he's fine. Who am I to judge, of course? I just work for Dr. Philo. But if you'd like to meet with him, I'm sure you could just drop by Hotel Washington and
Okay.
come see us.
Certainly.
We're in room 326. Just I'll let the front desk know that we have a visitor coming because at this late hour they...
Right.
Do you know what time you'll be by?
I'm not exactly sure at this point. I have an obligation a little later tonight, but after that I will try to drop by. Shouldn't be too late.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. maybe Dr. Philo will be back.
Wonderful. All right.
He is out, he's busy with all the things that have been going on. He was quite interested in some of those strange reports of fires. And, he's always gets those little bugs in his ear, and he wants to go and poke around while it's still warm, I guess. I never understood his vocation, but I am just his manservant that helps him out, I guess.
Okay. Well, I don't expect my obligation to take very long, so I would expect somewhere 2:30, 3 perhaps.
Oh, we'll be awake. We're night owls a lot of times. In Dr. Philo's case, of course, most of what he does is investigate the crime scenes, and it's easier to do his investigations when there's not as many people around, of course. And
Sure.
the good doctor, of course, with his line of work, I don't think he knows what a schedule is. The mental health branch is always busy 24 hours a day, so I'm sure he'll be happy to see you. And maybe he can talk to you for a bit instead of me.
All right. Hopefully we'll get to let your ear rest a bit.
That would be most appreciated, sir.
All right, good fellow. Good talking to you. And I will see you all later tonight.
Thank you, sir. I look forward to briefly seeing you. And then he hangs up the phone. It's the cultured man you've got. So, after you've made your phone call, Thomas comes over. Ma'am, Steve, I've got that information. You want me to come to your office and let you know?
Sure, come on to the office. I'll be out in just a moment.
Okay.
And I've just finished writing a letter.
Okay.
And I secure it away.
Okay. You're going to put out the word that you need it picked up?
Not yet. I want to proof it.
Okay. Spoiler. Watch a letter from Lily. That's the letter.
Mm-hmm.
So you go out come up to your office. Of course,
Yeah.
you come out of your
I come
area.
out of my quarters
Right.
are linked off of my law office.
And
so.
Thomas is waiting at the door. He waits. He don't go in before Lily's in there. And once you come inside, he goes, based on what you gave me, I did some look. We had 4 people up at that time because we were cycling them 4 at a time, based on our numbers of guards, of course. We did 4 6-hour breakdowns because we've got 16 and then us 4. So it was the 4 on duty at that time was Gus, Al, George, and Stan.
Okay. Have they been questioned?
No, ma'am. I didn't know if you wanted me to question them or anything. Now, of those 4, of course, Gus and Al have been with us. They were one of the first to be hired. Stan is the newest. He just started last month.
Okay.
So.
And
Yeah.
George, how long has George been here?
George's been here about 3 months.
3 months?
Yeah. But Gus and Al, you hired. They're ones that I hired right
Yeah,
after
no,
you
I-
picked me up, and I was the first, of course. So.
I want you to talk to Gus and Al.
Yes, ma'am.
You picked them up. They're most familiar with you.
Okay.
I want to talk to George.
Okay. What do you want me to? You want me to find out what they were doing?
Yeah,
how
just find out if
how
they-
circumspect are we
Just find
being?
out if they noticed anything odd.
Now of course, because these are ghouls, they're ghouls over time aren't as good at picking up the clues because of the effects of the bond. Your guys aren't quite at that stage
No,
yet,
they're
but
not. They're still pretty perceptive.
there's limitations to what But
So I just say, just ask them if they noticed anything going on in the afternoon that seemed abnormal. Sorry, I was muted, guys. But yeah, so talk to
slide your dice tray so I can see your button easier. Because she's bad about unmute.
when I vape, I forget to unmute.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, talk to Gus and Al. You know them. Find out if they noticed anything abnormal this afternoon.
Sure, ma'am. I can
Okay.
do that.
I want to talk to George.
Okay, make a note here.
And Steve, would you like to talk to Stan?
Sure, I will be happy to.
Okay.
Okay. Where you want me to tell him to meet?
George can come see me in my office. Steve,
Yes, ma'am.
you can have the conference room if you'd like.
Okay. I mean, he gets on the headset and calls him up. He also calls up because for the guards they're doing 2 up, 2 down for the VIPs.
He calls
For your
their
ghouls,
relief.
they do 2 up, 2 down. They don't do one. You know, they each one 2 of them get a 12-hour shift, and the other 2 get a 12-hour shift. That's how they've been dealing with the time with the week because it gives them good coverage. He calls out and has them come up. Are you sure? Did anyone see him go? I mean, nobody's supposed to come in and out. Check his things. Ma'am.
Who's missing?
Stan's gone.
Gone how?
He's not here. Nobody sees him in the building. He's supposed to be sleeping.
Uh-huh. I still want to talk to George.
Scott, why don't you take a look at the security footage, see if you can see, did he leave? I mean, when's the last time we see him?
Where'd he go? All our corridors are videoed.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Because Scott's in the, actually in the security room on the cameras. That's why they do it in 2. One stays in the security room, the other one walks around, and then they switch to give them, breaks. Yeah. Okay, yeah. They see, ma'am, Scott says he sees him on the video footage. He was down in the basement heading towards the sewer entrance that we don't have cameras on for obvious reasons. We have it close. You can't get in and out of the room, to it, but the entrance itself, we're not supposed to keep camera because of some of the people who you have come through there. But I think he might have slipped out that way.
I'm going to pull his personnel jacket.
Okay.
What do I see in it? Address, phone
Yeah, it's
number,
got
anything?
an address, a phone number, date of birth. I mean, it looks legit. It looks like.
Okay.
I mean, and from what you recognize the name because you're.
I know my people.
He seemed like a
stand-up guy.
a decent security guard. He was just a standard kind of security guard. I mean, he was a little bland and unobtrusive for your taste at times. But he was effective and never rocked, meticulously never rocked the boat or broke rules.
Okay.
Majorly, you don't know of any, even his uniform was always perfect. You never got him for any infractions for that. None of that. So, yeah, I see that look that Steve has right now. Yeah, somebody who's definitely trying not to raise any waves.
Yeah, no red flags. That's suspect in and of itself. Okay. In the future, Thomas, if someone seems too squeaky clean, make sure they're brought to my attention before they are hired.
No problem, ma'am.
I slide over the personnel jacket. Too clean.
I mean, most of us are clean. We've got a number, but yeah,
Nobody's perfect.
You kind of got a point because normally, I mean,
A
there's
speeding ticket, a
that's
freaking
that
parking
initial
ticket. I mean, things
first
happen.
couple weeks where we all don't realize the standard to be kept in their slips. But I understand your point on that. So
how was he hired? Who knew him?
He came in through. His recommendation was, of course, to a placement agency because I mean, you don't just go and grab security guards. But Scott interviewed him. And, I mean, Lily just signed off because, I mean, his record, I mean, he seemed...
I signed off because I trust your
Right, he
guys'
passed the
judgment.
background check. He passed all the requirements. So, I mean, I understand it's a common, there's no reason not to have hired him. But he just came from a placement agency.
What agency?
Security Professionals Incorporated. They're just, I mean, they just do generic, security. You'll see them in a lot of the buildings around here. They, it's one of them big, almost a temp agency for security. But they do short and long-term contracts with people, and I mean they've got a good rep.
I want them contacted in the morning. We are lodging a complaint.
Yes, ma'am. I'll make a note of that, and I'll follow up and let you know what happens.
Because him leaving suddenly is very suspicious.
Yeah, there's not supposed to. I mean, part of the contract was the long hours, and he accepted them, knowing it's overtime pay. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like most of
You guys get bank, okay?
well, not like most of the guards. The regular guards don't make as much. I mean,
but
you
they
pay 'em
still
well,
get well.
But most of them, I mean, it's not like they can make this kind of money. I mean, overtime pay. I mean, that's for you're doing double time because of the nature of the holiday. Actually, but the holiday
It's like 4
yesterday
times
was double
the pay.
time and a half.
Yeah.
For these guys. So, I
Yeah.
mean, they're not turning down a chance for the money. So, yeah, it's odd that he left. I'll see, especially the way he left. I mean, most of us
And
don't
I
go.
look at him and say, please text Quartermain, ask him to keep an eye out for him down there. And I ask for a description of what he looked like.
Well, you've got his
His
picture.
picture?
Yeah,
Okay,
because
so
that's part of the
I
personality.
literally hand you the picture and say, this is what he
Because
looks
you've got,
like.
you made out, all your guys have ID badges. You have to have one.
Have to have pictures.
Yeah, you got to have an
So-
ID badge to manage the club.
Yeah, I hand you the picture of him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ask
So-
Quartermain to look into this guy down there because he went down there. So
Yeah,
Rat
you don't
Patrol
want him-
might have saw him.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you don't know where he went, what he did.
right.
So, yeah.
The Rat Patrol may have seen him. Something down there had to see him.
Right.
And if they didn't, that's suspicious. So,
So, it's getting close to 12:30.
okay. So in the time I have, I'm going back into my quarters.
Okay, you're going back into the quarters.
I'm proofing my letter.
Okay, you're proofing the letter. Now you getting close to your time, of course, where you've got your thing, but you might as well leave about the same time she does, to be honest. What else do you going to do? What are you going to do in this time? You've got a little bit of time.
I'll go back to my room for a minute. Just close the door
Okay.
and sit and just look at this ring a little bit, rub it a little bit. Just look at it and contemplate it. What wonder, just wonder, like, what exactly is the significance of it?
As you're rubbing it, it goes from warm to cold, real cold, to cold of death. I mean, you just feel it radiate up you. And you're a kindred. You don't get cold, you don't get hot normally. But this is the cold of the grave. And you do an involuntary shiver, you can feel it to your core. And then once again, it fades. And the ring feels warm. But that's it.
Okay.
And I think this will be a perfect stop for this episode, because what's coming up is going to take longer than what we have left for today, because, well, this is not going to be a short meeting. So where we are now is Lily has got a meeting with the prince where she said she's planning to blackmail Stanford Warwick, bastard prince of the Nosferatu, newly assumed his throne on DC. Will he
She is an upstart bitch,
Will he
according to
accept?
Chaz.
Right? Will he accept the blackmail when, in a lot of ways, if the info come out, would it be ruinous to him? No. Would it make him look weak? In some ways, yes. It'd make his judgment look bad because obviously he chose a sheriff who couldn't keep his mouth shut, and that would make his judgment look bad, and it would cause a rift with Felix at this time when Felix isn't fully bound. And Felix came originally with loyalties to someone else. Convinced to join Stanford's side because of Stephen.
And because of me.
Well, Stephen was the one who pushed Felix to do it. And now he's gone. And Steve has a meeting with Karina that normally wouldn't matter, but it seems odd with the way she wanted you to come alone. By not
Oh, it
bring
wasn't
anybody.
subtle.
She obviously wants to talk to you of something of fair importance. And what has the Pontifex all spun up? That's going to be interesting. I guess people will find out next week. For us, we'll find out probably in about an hour, if that.
If that.
So I'd like to thank, of course, all the viewers who
Yes,
are watching and our regulars and our fans and the new people that come in. Thank you very much. Without you watching it, we wouldn't be, it wouldn't be the same doing it. We love to share the story. And I hope everyone appreciates the darker turn that the Chronicle has taken. It is a lot more somber right now and a lot darker because, well, dark things are happening. And now we know what Archimedes' Fulcrum is there's leverage being applied. leverage to a prince, and what leverage is going to be applied to a primogen? Because it's obvious she has something beside the boon to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So I will like to say goodbye and, of course, do our shout-outs as always. We are proud affiliates of the Gehenna Gaming family. If you like dark horror or you like vampire or any kind of real dark kind of a role-playing or computer games or just want to chat with some cool people, there's a link below for the Gehenna Gaming website. I always say that wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
Or you can pop over to their Discord, McStabber's Lounge.
Bars
Lily and I
open.
are in it all the time. Steve pops in from time to time. If you want to ask questions about what you see on our stream or give us critiques, you want to tell me I suck, go ahead. I don't care. You can tell me, I'll ignore you, but you can tell me. I won't get my feelings hurt over it. I'm fine with it. If you like vampire content, of course, Gehenna Gaming, while they don't do vampire streams, they talk about vampire. Just yesterday, from when this is airing, they talked with Mark Hagen-Ryan. I think that's how it was. Ryan Hagen,
Yep.
Creator of Vampire, the original, the one who wrote Vampire in the beginning. They interviewed him yesterday. So if you didn't see that interview, watch it.
Check it out.
I didn't get to watch the interview yet because I was recording this while they were doing it. But you can bet by the time this airs, I will have seen it because that man is the one who created Vampire. He's a legend in many ways. If you like other vampire content, after our show is Macabre Derek. He runs a very emotionally visceral Detroit by Night. It's a different style game. It's a great game. I love watching it. Pop into them. And Q Times is on break, so there's no Q Times at the moment. So, join us every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern. And we do board games on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. Anyone else have anything they'd like to add to this?
And also on weeknights around 11:30, I am streaming Chronicles of New York.
Coteries of New York.
Coteries of New York. Sorry, Coteries of New York, the new Vampire the Masquerade visual novel game that was released, or visual novel style game that was released by Draw Distance, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. I started it on release day this past Wednesday, and I'm going to be doing it Monday through Friday at 11:30.
And that reminds me of a thing. I've gotten a lot of questions over time since we started doing this, asking about the equipment we use and what kind of gear we have for our stream. Now, if you look below in our Twitch panels at the bottom, there's an Amazon list, and the list shows all the equipment that is being used. Yes, we do get some money from it, but that's not the purpose of it. The purpose of it is if you're looking to do like we're doing and you're wondering the kind of setup, ours is extreme for a new stream, for a new channel. But you can see what we're using to give great ideas. And if you like our content, follow us. If you want to subscribe, go ahead. If you're a Prime member, you get a free subscription every month through Amazon Prime, through Twitch Prime. Hook us up. The money we get from that is going to pay for improvements, and hopefully enough to pay for dinners and lunches for the players, because we're doing this for fun and we're not trying to make money, but any money we get helps. So I'd like to thank everyone and thank you for showing up, and
Thank
we'll
you,
see you
guys.
next week. And